evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, together with the Presidential Communications Office.
We bring you the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Princess Habiba Saripauda.
And I'm Joe Fernandez. We are from Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to
Balitang Pambansa.
Tonight's headlines. The palace was pleased with the U.S. government's decision to continue to provide aid for the country's security forces. The Philippines and Japan have agreed to further strengthen cooperation on security and defense. Several joint maritime activities have been conducted in the West Philippine Sea over the last 3 weeks. During such time, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, noticed a decrease in Chinese activity in the area. Senate President Francis Chis Escudero sees the possibility of a new timeline for the eventual holding of an impeachment trial against the Vice President. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has received a petition to disqualify a party list group for alleged vote buying. Malacanang has welcomed the United States' decision to exempt the Philippines from its aid freeze, allowing retention of crucial security assistance. Moving forward, Palace describes this as a significant development. PTV's Kenneth Paciente has the details.
Malacanang welcomes the exemption from the United States in its aid freeze for the security forces of the Philippines. According to the palace, this decision by the U.S. government is a significant development. This means that the $336 million assistance from the United States to the Philippines for the modernization of the country's security forces will push through. This is part of the $500 million foreign military financing, or FMF, approved by the U.S. Congress last year under the Biden administration. According to Malacanang, while the government is not neglecting the AFP modernization program, this initiative will be easier to implement with the help of the U.S.
Nagpapasalamat po tayo sa suporta na yan. Tandaan po natin, ito pa ay mula sa pamahalaan po ni dating Pangulo na US President Biden, at ito pa rin po ay pinagtibay din po sa panahon po ni President Donald Trump. So masarap po na makatanggap ng ganitong good news, at ang suporta po ng US sa atin ay hindi po mapapasubali.
Malacanang also clarified that it would be best for the Senate to request President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to convene a special session to initiate the impeachment trial of the Vice President. It would not look good if the President himself calls for a special session in the Senate, especially with issues linking him to the impeachment.
If you will look and read the provisions of the Constitution, you will see po, to forthwith proceed. Alright? Pero wala po makikitang time element. Is it to forthwith proceed even during recess? Because they can proceed definitely if there is session. There's no question about that. But to proceed during recess, gray area po yan sa Constitution.
The President is also currently conducting an evaluation of officials from various government agencies, but it is uncertain for now whether there will be a reshuffle. However, with the appointment of Secretary J. Ruiz to the PCO, changes are to be expected.
Nagkaroon na po ng meeting at sinabi niya po talaga na magkakaroon ng pagbabago. At maaaring may ma-retain, maaaring may mawala. So, hintayin po natin kung ano yung magiging order ni Sec. J. Ruiz.
Meanwhile, during today's commemoration of the EDSA People Power Revolution, the palace emphasized that the President has no intention of erasing history. Even though this day has been declared a special working day, there is no directive from the President to prevent anyone from commemorating the EDSA Revolution, nor is anyone being restricted from participating in related activities.
If there is the intention to erase the memories of EDSA People Power, ibang klaseng pamamaraan ang gagawin. As a matter of fact, we declared it as a special working day, but it is considered just a regular working day. But what's the purpose of a special working day? It's to encourage people to join any event kung kanilang kailangang i-commemorate ang isang affair.
From PTV Manila, Kenneth Paciente, Balitang Pambansa.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. believes the semiconductor industry in the Philippines has great potential, especially by strengthening integrated circuit or IC design in chip manufacturing. During a courtesy call with officials from Amcor Technology Incorporation, the president highlighted the company's significant role in expanding the industry. The government aims to elevate the sector from simple fabrication to IC design to increase the value of imported products. Amcor Technology Philippines, established in 1989, plans to transfer some of its products from China to the Philippines. In 2024, semiconductors accounted for nearly 40% of the country's total exports, valued at $29.16 billion.
Meanwhile, Japan is the largest contributor of official development assistance to the country. It also has 264 standing agreements with the Philippines, from deals covering defense equipment, infrastructure development, technology, and speeding up Mindanao's progress. The latest visit of Japan's Defense Minister Nakatani Gen has cemented prevailing bilateral relations and reinforced cooperation of both countries on maritime security, support for AAP's modernization, and commitment to uphold the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. As we hear more from our Clazel Padilla.
The Philippines and Japan have further strengthened their security and defense ties following the visit of Japanese Defense Minister Nakatani Gen to President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. During their meeting, both leaders reaffirmed their commitment to deepening bilateral relations and addressing regional security challenges.
Japan and the Philippines have worked closely for so many decades now. I'm sure that we will find much common ground to build further.
Minister Jan expressed optimism about the continued growth of maritime cooperation between the two nations. He also shared insights from his visit to Basa Air Base in Pampanga and Wallace Air Station in La Union.
There I was able to observe with my eyes the air surveillance radar system, which was transferred by the Japanese government.
As part of his visit, Minister Jen met with the Department of National Defense Secretary Gilbert Teodoro to reinforce commitments in advancing regional security and defense collaboration. Japan remains one of the Philippines' key strategic partners, with 264 bilateral agreements covering defense equipment, technology, infrastructure development, and Mindanao's progress. Japan also provides education and training programs for the armed forces of the Philippines. Since 2023, the Philippines has been among the first recipients of Japan's assistance in AFP modernization, aimed at deepening security cooperation and defense capabilities. Japan also continues to support the Philippines' commitment to international law, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Both nations advocate for stronger regional cooperation to prevent escalating tensions in the West Philippine Sea. These partnerships emphasizes peaceful and conflict resolution while enhancing the respective defense and security capabilities. From PTV, Rico Rense, Balitang Pambansa.
The Philippine Navy and Coast Guard have had joint maritime exercises with their French counter over the last 3 weeks. The latest batch of multilateral sail exercises in the country's exclusive economic zone that have proceeded and culminated without obstruction or incident, especially from harassive Chinese Coast Guard and PLA vessels that roam and torment Filipino vessels and fisherfolk. And as our Patrick De Jesus reports, the AFP is all set to perform maritime domain awareness flights to protect the country's other air assets.
3 consecutive weeks of joint maritime activity in the West Philippine Sea, the latest of which was the maritime cooperative activity between the armed forces of the Philippines and the French Navy last Friday, when France's aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle sailed alongside other vessels, while the Rafale multi-role fighter jets also flew over the West Philippine Sea. According to the AFP, no Chinese vessels were monitored in the vicinity of the exercise.
They were at a distance of more than 120 nautical miles away.
More multilateral sails with other countries are expected, as the AFP has observed a decrease in coercive actions by China's PLA Navy during such activities.
Actions of the government to bring in other nations to observe and protect the rules-based international order are very much welcome, and we have noted a marked decrease in the illegal and coercive actions of the PLA Navy each time there is a multilateral or bilateral maritime cooperative activity.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Air Force is ready to escort maritime domain awareness flights. This comes after a BFAR aircraft was put at risk last week due to the dangerous maneuvering of a Chinese military helicopter over Scarborough Shoal.
Whenever we are called upon to deploy our air assets to support other aircraft operating, be it civilian aircraft or another military aircraft, the Air Force is capable.
More AFP projects funded by the $336 million security aid from the U.S. are expected to continue after being exempt from the freeze order imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump's administration.
This is a welcome development on our part, and we are glad to continue. And it also signals basically our strong, long-standing relationship with the U.S. and the Philippines.
There are already particular programs that Higher Headquarters has mapped out for this year and even in the years to come. This will include activities on sea, air, and land, and even our support systems, cyber, and other areas.
From the People's Television Network, Patrick De Jesus, Balitang Pambansa.
Senate President Francis Escudero shared his timeline for the impeachment trial against Vice President Sara Duterte, predicting that voting might be held by October 2025. He highlighted that the trial could be completed in less than 3 months if pre-trial procedures are followed properly. Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel urged Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino to initiate impeachment processes as they are separate from legislative functions. The Senate President, though, disagreed with the idea of ending the impeachment proceedings before completion, stressing that trials should be finished regardless of timing.
Pangalawa, sang-ayon sa konstitusyon, pwede lamang magpatawag ang Senate President ng special session kapag hiniling ko sa Majority Leader at pumayag siya, sa Minority Leader kay Coco Pimentel at pumayag siya, at kay Speaker Martin at pumayag siya, pero para sa isang dahilan lang, urgent legislation. Ang impeachment ay hindi urgent legislation.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has given the House of Representatives and Senate 10 days to comment on Vice President Sara Duterte's petition to dismiss her impeachment case. The Vice President claims the process violated the law as only one impeachment complaint can be filed per year. She also requested a temporary restraining order or TRO, but the High Court has not issued one yet and is actually considering consolidating related petitions.
The court required the House of Representatives, its Secretary General Reginald Velasco, and the Senate to comment on the petition within a non-extendable period of 10 days from notice.
In other news, construction workers Solidarity Party List will face a disqualification case after spearheading the holding of a raffle at the Barako Fest in Batangas. In the petition filed by Mataas na Kahoy incumbent Vice Mayor Jay Ilagan before the Commission on Elections COMELEC, he asserted that the party list violated vote buying since they gave out 3 sedans as raffle prizes. Ilagan believed that they have strong evidence to file a case since they have the video wherein the raffle happened. For their part, the COMELEC says it will investigate the matter and assured it will address the issue immediately.
Yan ay kaagad nating a-actionan sapagkat nararapat lamang kapag ganito naghihintay kasi ang sambayanan ng serious ba talaga ang COMELEC na labanan yung issue ng vote buying. Bilang babala rin sa ating mga kababayang kandidato, iiwasan yung mga bagay-bagay na maaari magkaroon ng hinala ang sambayanan na namimili ka ng boto. Yan yung sinasabi natin. Napakahirap na may kaso sa amin. They can be disqualified and at the same time pwede namin sila ipakulong kasi ang vote buying ay isang kasong kriminal.
The Bureau of Immigration or BI confirmed that there are more than 11,000 foreigners remaining in the Philippines. Those foreigners are wanted due to their illegal stay in the country after working in Pogo hubs. According to immigration spokesperson Dana Sandoval, the BI already caught more than 500 individuals and almost 200 people have been deported to their country of origin. The said individuals have now been blacklisted.
Once lumabas na po yung deportation order nila, chinarge sila na napatunayan na sila ay illegal alien, so lalabas po ang deportation order nila. Ang requirements lang po for deportation is just their travel document. We have coordinated with the embassies para matulungan po tayo na ma-expedite yung issuance ng mga travel documents namin for foreign nationals with no travel documents.
Ito'y isang kwento ng pagpupursigi ng isang benepisyaryo na ngayon bumunga ang kanyang pangarap.
Ako si Jomari Pialhas, apo ni Abilino Pasaylo, taga Purok Uno, San Isidro, Pitugo, Zamboanga del Sur.
Ayon kay Jomari, 20 taon rin ang paghihintay ng kanilang pamilya para mapasa kanila ang lupang kanilang sinasakahan.
Dabi yung pagpangga ni Lolo sa iyahang luna, kay siyagyo'y nagtanong og mga daghang lubi. Unsay gibuhat sa kong lolo, unsay nakita nako sa pag-atiman niya sa mga gitanong, nga naamon po nako sa pag-atiman.
1 ektarya ng lupa ang kanilang natanggap noong ika-24 ng Mayo sa isang okasyon na pinangunahan mismo ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at ng Department of Agrarian Reform sa rehiyon ng Zamboanga. Mahigit 4,000 benepisyaryo ang nakatanggap ng kanilang mga titulo noong araw na ito. Ito ay sumasaklaw sa mahigit 7,000 ektarya. Para kay Jomari, kahit hindi man naabutan ng kanyang lolo na matanggap ng personal ang kanyang inaasam na titulo, masaya pa rin siya dahil naipamana pa rin ito sa kanyang pamilya. Pinapangako rin ni Jomari na sa pamamagitan ng lupang natanggap, mas palalaguin niya pa ang bunga ng mga itinanim ng kanyang lolo, mapagulay, prutas, pati na rin ang mga pangarap.
Salamat sa DAR, sa dugay-dugay na mong hinulat, maabot na gyud ang amuang titulo. O ilabi na ni President Bongbong Marcos. Maraming salamat po.
Back on Balitang Pambansa, as the 2025 midterm elections draws near, the administration's senatorial candidates under the Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas continue to gain strong public support across the country. Navota City Representative Toby Tiangco, who serves as the group's campaign manager, shared the assessment based on their nationwide visits. According to Tiangco, the overwhelming support from Filipinos in various provinces reflect the people's trust in the administration and their desire for a Senate that will work with the president. He also added that the administration's senatorial slate remains optimistic that more voters will rally behind their programs and advocacies, which will help bring out progress and development.
Commuters can look forward to a more modern and efficient EDSA busway system next year as part of the Department of Transportation's or DOTR efforts to improve public transport. On his first day in office, newly appointed Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon personally rode the EDSA busway from Ortigas to Monumento to assess the challenges faced by commuters. One major issue he observed was the shared access point between EDSA busway passengers and MRT3 commuters, which causes congestion and confusion. To address this, Secretary Dizon proposed the construction of a dedicated bridgeway for the EDSA busway at Ortigas, along with clearer signages to improve passenger flow. As a model, the OTR plans to adopt the concourse design used in the North EDSA Mall and implement similar structures in other EDSA busway stations to enhance commuter experience.
We're going to start the process of bidding out for the improvement of the stations for this year. No, so there's budget allocated, and we will use the model station of SM North EDSA and SM Mega Mall. We will replicate those in all the other 21 stations.
Meanwhile, in celebration of the National Tax Awareness Month, BIR Region 9B officially launched the 2025 Tax Awareness Campaign to highlight the Bureau's achievements and innovative efforts in tax collection. Main Odong from PIA Calabarzon has more.
In an aim to raise tax awareness and highlight the Bureau's achievements and innovations in tax collection, the Bureau of Internal Revenue Region 9B officially launched the 2025 BIR Regional Tax Campaign Kick-Off. Theme Buwi sa Tapat, Tagumpay Nating Lahat, it reflects the administration's commitment to nation building by funding essential services such as infrastructure, education, and healthcare.
Buwis na Tapat speaks to the need for transparency and accountability in our tax system. It means that everyone, regardless of their status or background, should contribute their fair share and to the nation's development. By doing so, we ensure that the burden is distributed equitably and that no one is left behind.
To effectively reach more taxpayers, BIR plans to further promote online services for taxpayer convenience and provide customer relations training for employees to enhance their capability in fulfilling their duties.
Kami po sa aming region ay lagi po natin pinapaalalahanan ang ating mga kawani na kailangan ay maging courteous at friendly po tayo sa ating mga taxpayers. Tratuhin po natin sila as our partners in nation building and definitely not as adversaries.
The BIR is confident that it will reach the 3.2 trillion pesos tax collection target this year by easing tax payment procedures and improved coordination with various sectors in the country. From PIA Calabarzon, Balitang Pambansa.
In other news, Antique's mangrove swamps and wetlands are home to a number of migratory birds like egrets, kingfishers, herons, and species of ducks that fly long distances. Thus, in celebration of World Wetlands Day today, the people of Antique, in cooperation with the local DNR office and groups of volunteers, planted some 2,000 mangrove propagules to extend the reach of this bountiful ecosystem that benefits both man and wildlife. PIA's Pilar Mabaquiao has more.
Antique's wetland areas are home to thousands of migratory birds that enjoy its tropical climate. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources led the bird identification and counting in the towns of Antique, Bilisan, and Patnongon to identify species of migratory birds that frequent the province. Documentation of these birds records species like Philippine duck, black-crowned night heron, great egret, collared kingfisher, and wandering whistling duck, among other migratory birds.
In the province of Antique, we have conducted the Asian waterbird census in rice fields, swamps, and fish ponds. These areas serve as their food source and resting place during their long migratory journey.
To preserve Antique's wetlands and in celebration of World Wetlands Day, the DNR, in partnership with the local Environment and Natural Resources Office and group of volunteers, conducted a mangrove planting in Caritaan, Patnongon with a total of 2,000 mangrove propagules planted. The local Environment Office emphasized the important role of mangroves in coastal protection, biodiversity habitat, carbon sequestration, environmental conservation, and sustainable livelihoods.
We at the Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Office encourage every Antiqueño to take part in the preservation and conservation of the identified wetland sites in the province.
From the Philippine Information Agency, Pilar Mabaquiao for Balitang Pambansa.
The Department of Agriculture, or DA, distributed cash assistance for ASF-affected farmers in Occidental Mindoro under the government's indemnification program. Diane Gurimbalem of Philippine Information Agency Mimaropa has the details.
Hog raisers affected by the African swine fever, or ASF, in Occidental Mindoro recently received cash assistance from the Department of Agriculture, or DA Mimaropa. Under the ASF indemnification program, the beneficiaries received 5,000 pesos per head of swine culled during last year's depopulation effort.
Ito po ay bayad para doon sa mga na-depopulate na baboy, busang isinuko po ninyo na baboy para po hindi na po kumalat pa ang ASF sa Occidental Mindoro.
In total, 2,939 hog raisers in mainland Occidental Mindoro received indemnity from DA totaling 95.7 million pesos.
Lubos po akong nagpapasalamat sa biyayang pinagkaloob po sa amin sa aming mga namatay na baboy.
Ito po ay malaking tulong ang pagtanggap po ng financial assistance sa namatay naming baboy para may kapalit lang po yung aming nagastos sa pagkain.
Carrido clarified that qualified beneficiaries for the indemnity are ASF-affected hog raisers rearing less than 20 swine and are not covered by the Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation. The DA Mimaropa, in partnership with the local government, is working hand in hand to ensure that all ASF-affected hog growers in the province will receive the indemnity. From Philippine Information Agency, Mimaropa, Dayan Francis Sigo Embalem for Balitang Pambansa.
And for our weather update, the shear line is affecting the eastern section of Visayas, while the northeast monsoon is affecting Luzon. Based on PAGASA's latest monitoring, eastern Visayas, central Visayas, northern Mindanao, Caraga, and Zamboanga Peninsula may experience cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and isolated thunderstorms. The rest of Mindanao, on the other hand, may experience cloudy skies with rain showers and thunderstorms caused by the easterlies. Cagayan Valley, Cordillera Administrative Region, Aurora, and Quezon Province may expect cloudy skies with rains. Further, northeast monsoon may bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains in Metro Manila, the rest of the zone, as well as the rest of Visayas.
And that concludes our rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez.
This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Princess Abiba Saripao Jack, and this is Balitang Pambansa.